Hello everyone, this is Jacoby, and I'm here to say first of all, there's going to be up to 3 reviews a week from now on, but this week may be an exception because I watched these movies last week. I just never got around to reviewing them. But first things first, Aladdin 2019. Where do I begin with this movie? I don't even know what to really say. I've had several days to think on this, so I have an opinion. It's just bizarre. It's the opinion I thought I wouldn't have, but this movie's harmless. Like, it's harmless. However, the same things that make this movie okay also make it bad. Because it goes without saying, but Will Smith is not Robin Williams. Period. He's a great actor. He did his absolute damnedest. But no, he is not Robin Williams. When I watched this, I blame the director more than I blame anyone. Because Will Smith did exactly what he was probably told to do. You can tell he did his best. He was probably told, and I quote, try to capture the essence of the genie. Try to take the genie, maybe make a few creative liberties, but try to be the genie. Try to be Robin Williams the genie. But here's the problem. The problem with doing that is you can't. What they could have done is looked at Will Smith, looked at his history of like the kind of jokes he makes, and could have ran on that. They could have ran on it. They could have really made it work. It's possible. Okay, everyone has the thing that makes them them. And what made the genie originally work was the genie as a character was written around Robin Williams and his stand-up. In fact, the pitch that they made to Robin Williams to be the genie, that he was going to say no, was they took a bit of stand-up that Robin Williams did and animated the genies doing the stand-up. And Robin Williams laughed, and the rest was history. But the truth is, the only way to make a character like the genie work is to have him based around the actor who's going to play him. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Because only Robin Williams can be Robin Williams. And that's just it. It was a great effort. You can really tell he's trying. But the other person who went with me to the movies actually looked at me and said, he's forcing this. You can tell. And the thing is, they tried too hard to make basically a repeat. There were certain jokes that were new. There was one song that had nothing to do with Aladdin in there, but but that's where the problems with this movie really end. The song that doesn't fit, which is not in the style of the rest of the movie, and then you have the problem of the genie. And even the part with the genie, like, they did a great job. Like, he did a great job. It's just he didn't match the character. And honestly, that doesn't feel like a sin. That's not a sin. The effects weren't even that cringy. They weren't. People are going to scream about how the genie looks hokey and the genie this and the live action that, and it's going to ruin the world, blah. I don't judge a movie based on the fact that it's a remake. That's not my job if I'm going to review this movie. That's not my job. I don't care if it was a remake. Okay, let's just go off of... Let's say this movie was a standalone. That it was the first time it ever existed, and I gotta judge it based on its own merits. Okay. So assuming that animated Aladdin just never existed. It's kind of hard to do. But I'm gonna pretend. Let's make believe. For just one moment. Okay. So we have a movie where some jokes don't work. They don't get delivered quite right. And so we have the genie whose comedy is based on late comedian Robin Williams and his stand-up. It kind of does him a little bit of justice. Some of it works, but some of it doesn't, because only Robin Williams could deliver it. And so if this movie was a standalone, my wish would be that this movie would have came out soon enough that Robin Williams could have done this role himself. The problem is then you would have the problem of Robin Williams would have been too old. He might not have been able to pull off the part of the genie, etc., etc. There are multiple problems with how the genie was done. But the way it was done, standalone, by itself, as if there was no original movie, he was okay. Like, if there was nothing to base this on, the movie was good. The music was great. Music was well done. Freaking great. One song was out of place. It wasn't in the same style and wasn't really needed per se. I mean, I thought it was a cool little bit. And also the subplot of the romance. I give them brownie points for changing things up. I liked it. I really did. Some people are going to be annoyed by, oh, this doesn't happen. Well, again, if I'm going to judge this on its own thing, I'm going to say I liked it. It added a little bit to the story. And I gotta say the jams joke was fucking great. I enjoyed that immensely. It was smart. I enjoyed it. The music was great. They couldn't have cast better people for every other character in the film besides Jafar. His acting, his look, it didn't quite match up with Jafar. He was not very intimidating for a bad guy that is all powerful. Though, can you really get Jafar right in live action? I don't think you can. I don't think there was very many choices that could have worked, honestly, if there is any. I mean, I'm sure there is. People have been more intimidating in live action sometimes than in animation, but they clearly didn't pick right. Gonna be real, like, if there was a way to capture the absolute just shit your pants evil qualities of Jafar, they didn't fucking do it. Because he is a terrifying villain, because he's basically the epitome of the worst of humanity realizing true power. And loving every fucking moment of it. Maybe he's not the most terrifying Disney villain, because we've had some real scary motherfuckers, but for a villain, his motives were obvious, if not perfect, for the film at hand. Because sometimes someone's just bad. You know, you don't know their story, but in the here and now, they're just bad, and that's just how they are. It happens. You know, it's not like we're trying to like win awards through originality or anything like that, but one thing that Aladdin actually did really well on was, I'd like to say that the kingdom was a little bit more fleshed out. Because it felt like the way they got Agrabah in this movie, as opposed to in the animation. And in the animation, I didn't feel like it was a place I could walk through it. It was a place that I could map out and remember where stuff is. But in Aladdin 2019, it felt like there was distance. There was, I mean, I guess that's part of being live action, but it felt more like you could walk through the streets and get from point A to point B, and it was always in the same place. Like, this place would always be in that same place, and it didn't feel like the landscape was shifting at the whim of the characters when they needed to do something. Okay, there is one song that bothered me. One that goes, "One step ahead of the law, man." Yeah, well, that song didn't really work in this because they did try to add something, and it didn't really work as well. It was. Sometimes they would go for stuff that worked better on camera. The problem is, like anyone will say, certain things in live action compared to animation will lose its charm. I know I said, I'm nitpicking, remember I said this movie has to stand on its own merits. They did what would work in live action, because it would be hokey and weird in animation. But, they changed the ending. He doesn't stay a genie, he just turns human. And I'm like, you destroyed any possible sequel. Because you destroyed it, he's gone. It's not possible. It's gone. If anything else that happens to Aladdin would finish him off, because there's no way, without the genie, that Aladdin be able to defend himself against some of the crap that comes later. They turned Jafar into a genie without the genie there to stop him if he were to come back. Which means the future in this world is bad. It's going to end badly. Because Jafar is still out there. Jafar is still out there. And that is bad. Anyway. That's pretty much it. Like, this movie was good. It was solid. It was decent. It was harmless. Most important, harmless. I do recommend to go watch it while it's still in theaters, because I feel like most of the magic is seeing it in theaters. I could be wrong though. But if you want to, go ahead. No one's stopping you. No one's telling you to either, really. Because it'd be okay on video, I guess. But I always enjoy just sitting in the seats and just eating popcorn and drinking soda. You know, good stuff while you're watching the movie on a big screen. Yeah, good movie though. Good movie. Give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Which for me is slightly average. Pretty much average. About how I judge. Most things I judge don't get higher than an 8.5, so, you know, 6.5 is on average. Remember, 50% is halfway, so it's a D. I give it a D. A solid D. It's okay. If you just need something to watch, the music's good for the most part. The acting, besides Jafar and the occasional flub by Will Smith to capture the essence of Robin Williams, which is entirely not his fault. He was told to do something and he tried his best to deliver. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.